Hey ambitious professionals, it's Linda Rayner of lindarayner.com, guiding you to a career and life you'll truly enjoy. Now, if you are currently in a situation where you're dealing with jealous, gossipy, bad-mouthing, and insecure coworkers, then this video is for you. I'm going to discuss with you why it's happening to you in the first place and what you can do about it to overcome it. So stay tuned. Now, as a career strategist, I've had the honor of being able to help numerous corporate ambitious professionals just like you to land their dream job offers. And if this is something that you're interested in working with me one-on-one, I can give you details about that at the end of this video. Now, one of the common questions that I get asked most often is how to deal with toxic coworkers who are insecure and who love to gossip and talk about you in the workplace. In fact, I get asked this question so often that it made me realize how prevalent this issue is, and that's the number one reason why people leave companies. Not because of the job itself, but because of the people that they work with. And because this topic is so important, I want to be able to share my advice with you. And as always, I'm going to be super transparent, and it's likely advice that you haven't heard anywhere else. So first of all, let's address the question of why are these toxic coworkers targeting you? If you are feeling singled out and picked on compared to everyone else in the office, then there may be a variety of reasons for why that's happening. Either you're amazing and you're doing great and they're just simply jealous of you, or you are drawing it to yourself. And there is a difference, trust me. And I'll explain, but let's talk about the first reason why they may be jealous of you, and that is that you are a strong performer, you do great at work, you're well liked by your managers and other coworkers, but there happens to be this small group of toxic coworkers who are purely jealous of you. Let's talk about those. If you happen to think that maybe they're actually just jealous of you, then the best way to overcome this is to understand where that person, that toxic individual, is coming from an emotional and mental standpoint. So maybe before you came along, maybe before you joined this team, this department, this company, they happen to be the superstar. And then all of a sudden you come along and you outperform them in a shorter period of time. All of a sudden, they feel that their value and worth has decreased and they look at you as their target for who they want to feel jealous towards and who they want to show their dislike towards. So to put it simply, they feel threatened by your presence. And like I said earlier, the way to overcome this, the antidote to all of this, is for you to understand them, understand where they're coming from. Because when you can understand that they're feeling threatened, you can feel their sense of insecurity. And so it almost makes you feel a bit of pity towards them. You can realize that they don't have enough self-love and self-appreciation within themselves to say that it's okay that someone else came along and is doing a great job. You have to remember this. If someone is jealous of you because you happen to be a better performer than them or just more well-liked by others than they are, or for whatever reason, if they happen to be jealous of you, it's because it has everything to do with them and their insecurities, and it has actually nothing to do with you. So just to reiterate, understanding is the key. Understanding that person, understanding what's going on within them will help you to lessen the impact of their words and energy towards you, and it's going to help you to be able to deal with them on a daily basis. Okay, so that was reason number one. But if that's not the case, if you're not dealing with this feeling that people are jealous of you, then there is another reason why you are being targeted by these toxic individuals. And this is probably a reason that, I'll be honest, you don't want to hear, but I'm just going to say it. And that is that you are feeling negative towards your coworkers, and they're feeling negative towards you because you already feel negative about yourself. And what happens is that negative energy that's already within you is amplified now in your external environment, and it happens to be at work where what you are feeling on the inside is being reflected back to you by the people on the outside. I'll explain. This is a cold, hard, deep truth that I really want you to know about and to understand, because I have seen it firsthand, where the way someone feels about themselves and the energy that they project and the thoughts that they have and the beliefs that they hold on to directly impact the results that they are able to achieve in their everyday lives. For example, if you were looking for a better career, looking for a new job, and you wanted to be able to get that quickly, it all does depend on not only your experience and skills and all that stuff, but it also depends on how you feel about your abilities and how you feel about yourself, and then how that's projected to others. So let me ask you this. Over the last few years, have you been holding on to any insecure, unhappy, low self-worth types of thoughts? How do you actually feel about yourself on a daily basis? This is a deep question that I want you to be completely honest with when you're answering for yourself, because this will open you up to an understanding of potentially why you are currently being targeted by these toxic individuals at work. So I go by a concept that I've lived by for years now, and I honestly believe that it's the truth. It's just how life works. And that concept, I've mentioned it before in other videos, is called the world is your mirror. What I mean by that is the world will project back onto you what you are currently already projecting from the inside out. So if you're someone who has always felt that it's you against the world, that life is full of potential enemies, that you can't trust anyone except for yourself, or if you've felt that you have to always suppress your emotions, you can't be completely honest and transparent, otherwise that's a sign of weakness. Or maybe you've always felt that it's important to put others first, and then you end up feeling as though you're a doormat. Now, I know that me bringing up this topic and talking about it this way may make it sound as though I'm blaming you for why you're being treated badly at work. And I want you to understand and be very clear about it right now that that is not what I'm doing. I'm not blaming you. But what I am doing is I'm bringing to your attention some potential areas within you that you may not have been aware of your entire life, and that you may not have changed, but now you have the opportunity to. Because what's going to happen is that once you bring awareness to these negative, deeply embedded beliefs that you potentially have within you, that's going to shift the situation that you're dealing with at work. You're no longer going to feel like a target. You're no longer going to feel as though you have no control, because you do have control. And the only person you have control over is yourself, and you have control over your beliefs. You have control over how you feel about yourself, and you have control over how you project yourself every single day. So if you can shift these beliefs, if you can look within yourself and dig deep and find areas where you do feel insecure, and times where you do feel low confidence, and times where you feel as though you're not projecting the best version of yourself, if you can self-reflect and be honest with yourself through that process, then that's going to help you to bring awareness to what you can change. And if you can change the way that you feel about yourself, like I said, it's going to change your entire situation with these toxic individuals at work. So in essence, what's happening to you is actually a blessing, because now you can understand that if you've been feeling not so great about yourself because of what these naysayers have been saying about you, it's partially because inside of you, you've already held onto similar beliefs that they seem to be projecting onto you. And that's your opportunity now to change it, to shift it, to eliminate these types of beliefs, and to replace them with more self-loving, self-appreciative, and more grateful beliefs that you have towards yourself. So enough explaining, let's make it practical. What can you do to shift these beliefs? What I want you to start doing, or what I suggest, is that you find a quiet place, find a time in your day where you have the opportunity to sit for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, however long you have, and to then ask yourself and be completely honest with yourself, how do I feel about myself? What are the thoughts and beliefs that I have about myself on a daily basis? And just let your pen write what it needs to write on that piece of paper and see what comes up, because there is a potential that not all the thoughts and beliefs that you have about yourself are fantastic. And that's great, because if they aren't fantastic, if they aren't wonderful, then there's your opportunity to shift them. For example, if you've been holding on to a deep-seated belief that tells you that you're just not good enough compared to others, for whatever reason, whatever good enough means, then you want to ask yourself, what does that mean? And what do I actually feel about myself? How do I actually feel when I feel that I'm not good enough? But then once you've fully analyzed that, then you want to be able to understand it, understand where it came from, who taught me to believe that I'm not good enough, for example. And then once you understand all of that, then you're able to consciously shift that belief. And it's not going to be as though you're going to say, oh, I'm not good enough, but now I'm amazing. You're not going to believe that if you're trying to switch from such a negative thought to such a drastic positive thought. Instead, what you want to do is you want to ask yourself, well, what are the good qualities that I have about myself? What are some traits that I have that I do feel positive towards myself? So that's where you start. And then that's where you build your confidence, and that's where you also build more self-awareness. And you might be wondering, so what's going to happen with those toxic coworkers? Is this going to change the way they feel about me? And the answer is yes. You are going to notice a remarkable difference in the way that they treat you, because what happens is that when you feel differently about yourself, when you feel more positive about yourself, you start to carry yourself differently. You start to emit a different energy. And these toxic individuals, they look to feed off of low energy individuals. And if you're someone who has high vibrating energy, you're positive and you feel good about yourself, they don't have much to latch onto. And so you'll notice that they maybe will stop targeting you as much, or they'll just avoid you and ignore you. And they no longer get what they're looking for, which is a reaction out of you. And that's because you've no longer allowed them to provoke you. So that's the benefit of you becoming more self-aware and identifying those deeply embedded negative beliefs. So there you have it. I really hope that this advice that I'm sharing with you on how to deal with toxic coworkers or just toxic people in general is going to be helpful. And to end it off, I wanted to share with you an inspiring quote that I thought was really fitting. A man or woman cannot be comfortable without his or her own approval, by Mark Twain. Now, if you happen to be on the hunt for a new job and you haven't had much success with getting interviews or passing the interviews or finding that amazing job offer that you deserve, and you realize that you need more help, then I have so many resources to help you. I have my free resume mastery workshop, which the link is in the description box down below. I have my free interview strategy workshop, which is brand new and you can have access to as well. And I also have my one-on-one Stand Out Get Hired coaching program, which if you realize that you want one-on-one guidance directly from me, then feel free to head on over to my website, fill in the application form, and from there, one of my team members will read your application, they'll see if you're a match, and from there, reach out to you directly. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.